The 9-4 Tennessee Titans coming off a victory 20-0 over Jacksonville, and Pittsburgh 6-1 coming off a loss last Thursday. At least they're fresh right now. They're still in it. But if you look at this football team, the Pittsburgh side coach, Pittsburgh is always known for their defense. They're just not getting it done on defense. T.J. Watt's still leading the NFL with 16 sacks, but he's got another injury, and he's nicked up. Mika Fitzpatrick is doing a terrific job, 88 tackles on the defensive side of the ball, 2 picks. But when I look at this Pittsburgh secondary, coach, they have 8 interceptions on the season. That's it, 8. You know, Trayvon Diggs has 9 for the Dallas Cowboys. Just one person has more than the entire Pittsburgh defense. That really concerns me in this game. Breaking it down, I look at both of these teams. It's going to be one of those physical football games. I think they're both going to try to run it, even though they don't have the ability to run it because of injuries and because the offensive lines aren't playing very well. Your thoughts on Tennessee and Pittsburgh?
Well, when you talk about Pittsburgh, it used to be called the Steel Curtain because their defense was so outstanding. I agree with you, Mark, no longer. Now, let's look at the Tennessee Titans. They have lost 2 of their last 3, and their only victory was over the Jaguars. I think the Steelers is such an important game because if they're going to remain in the race, which is still pretty close between all 4 teams, the Bengals, the Browns, the Ravens, and the Steelers, this is a must game for them. I think Ben Roethlisberger's having a pretty good year, Mark. He's completing 65% of his passes, so over 3,000 yards, 19 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions. But I want to tell you, I think Harris is an outstanding back, Mark. Some of the best runs I've seen this year have been by Harris getting back to the line of scrimmage. And what they're starting to do, take advantage of Harris, is by hitting him with a pass out of the backfield, getting him in an open area where he can be very, very productive. He has over 400 yards in receptions. I think when you look at the Steelers, the key to them is Watt. If Jay Watt shows up for the football game, he can put pressure on them, and they have a chance against it. But their defense only has 8 interceptions, as I mentioned. They're +2 on takeaways, and that's not good enough. The defense has scored 1 TD, but the Pittsburgh offense has given up 2 TDs. Now let's go to Tennessee. You look at the faults of the Steelers. But I think the Tennessee Titans have some too. Yeah, Tannehill is a very good quarterback. He's thrown for over 3,000 yards. He's a good runner as well. But since they lost the great running back Derrick Henry, Mark, they aren't the same football team. They counted on him establishing the running game, and then Tannehill could play action pass. When you don't have a great running game, then the play action pass is not nearly as effective as it was earlier in the year. Tannehill's been sacked 37 times, Mark. That's an awful lot. He has thrown 14 touchdowns, but he's also thrown 13 interceptions. I just think that Julio Jones, great receiver. Yeah, they have A.J. Brown, 615 yards. Julio Jones only has 319 yards because he's been injured. This is one of the best receivers in the entire league, and they're not able to get the ball to him on an effective basis. Consequently, I think the Steelers going to find a way to win this. Even though they lost 3 of their last 4, Mark, they find a way to win. Steelers 21, Tennessee Titans 20.
Steelers are playing at home, and Julio Jones does not have a touchdown reception on the season. I know he's been banged up, but last week in their last game, he had 4 receptions for 33 yards against Jacksonville. At least he's getting back in the offense. And you're right about running the football. When you're banged up on the offensive line, when you lose a Derrick Henry, that puts a lot of pressure on this offense. It's predicated on running the ball and play action pass, as you stated. But you look at Ryan Tannehill, he's still pushing with his football team, completing 66% of his passes, even without a full complement to his offense. So I look at the defense has to lead this team. They came up with 4 interceptions last week against Jacksonville. Harold Landry, the linebacker, has 11 sacks. You look at the outside, Kevin Byrd has done a terrific, Byard has done a terrific job with 5 picks. This defense is making plays defensively, but I look at that Pittsburgh Steelers offense again, and I just so impressed with Najee Harris. He's got 60 receptions, second on the team as a running back out of the backfield. That's what impresses me, but everything's dink and dunk with the Steelers. They haven't been able to go vertically with the football. And then last week in their last game, Chase Claypool on Thursday night, your Notre Dame boy, I don't know what he was thinking about, taking time off the clock at the end of the game. He got a penalty. He got benched early in the game by Tomlin, comes back at the end of the game. Pressure's on this football team. The clock's running down. No timeouts. Seconds are ticking. He does a very selfish thing and gets on his knee and does the first down thing. It costs them 10 seconds off the clock. That discipline has to carry over. Mike Tomlin has to get that under control for the Steelers. They can't make stupid mistakes like that. But I am taking the Steelers at home, taking the 1.5. It's not going to be that high score, and I think the Steelers win this game in an ugly, nasty, grind-out game, 20-17. Well, they're getting the 1.5.
Injuries are part of the game, Mark, and that's why everybody has the attitude, next man up. You have an injury, you close the ranks, you pick up the rifle, and you march on. That's what you have to do. And I think that this game is so important to the Steelers. Also pretty important to Tennessee because I think the Colts are one of the hottest teams in the league. They might lose to the Patriots. They might beat them. I don't know. But they're still in the race for that division unless Tennessee picks it up.